Let's take a trip back in time.
Badasses. Later, pig!
Yeah, but only 2 bites.
The year is 2005. Family Guy's returned to Fox thanks to amazing DVD sales and the ratings on Adult Swim. At the time, I thought it was one of the funniest things on TV. I was a stupid teenager. The Simpsons was on season 16. The episodes have now become very hit or miss. It's a couple decent episodes from this season. The same year, the Boondocks would premiere on Adult Swim, becoming a cult classic, and the 9th season of South Park would premiere. The first few seasons of South Park were hot as fish grease, with the type of comedy young teenagers and early 20s men like me loved. But by season 9, the audience had grown up some, and so had the creators. It's around this time that we would get more and more episodes around the adults, mainly Randy Marsh. An episode that marks the beginning of the show's second golden era, The Losing Edge, Randy gets drunk, fights a bunch of softball redneck dads, gets arrested, creating the meme, oh, I thought this was America. Now, let's jump back to 2025. Family Guy was apparently switched to Thursday nights at some point and not canceled like I assumed. The Simpsons is still on Sundays, but it's such an insignificant series. A rumor spread that they killed off Marge Simpson a month after the episode actually premiered because of a TikTok video showing no one actually watches the show. Also, have you heard Marge's voice lately? Please replace her or fix her voice with a clanker. 20 years later, even the biggest fans and channels that make Boondocks videos are like, now that you think about it, the show really only had 2 good seasons. And South Park season 27 premiere went viral on Twitter before the episode was done airing. What is it about South Park, and how has it outlasted all of these shows and stayed in the cultural zeitgeist? I'm going to try and answer that for you. If you're new to the channel, I'm John Lewis, Hero Beats on the track, Detroit Together Strong. Subscribe and let's get started. After a very public battle with his parent company, Dan signed a $1.5 billion, that's billion with the B, streaming contract. South Park returned late July 2025 and basically dared Donald Trump to sue them, all while trying to sabotage Paramount's deal to merge with Skydance. By the time this video drops, I'll be one of the last channels to talk about that episode, but that's fine because a lot of you don't watch any animation channels anyway. To keep it interesting, we'll look at 3 episodes of South Park to show why its specific brand of humor works so well for satire. It's not like South Park is the first adult animated show to take digs at Donald Trump. Family Guy did it a few years ago with the giant chicken fight with him versus Peter Griffin.
Say that again. I dare you. You are cash poor.
Yet, no one really cared, mostly because even if you agree or not, Family Guy is seen as childish random humor by most adults. While South Park is seen as true satire, every few years the series does something that makes national or global news. The Cartoon War special from 2006 is still banned from ever being aired again around the world and America because it joked about the depicting of the Muslim prophet Muhammad. Is South Park just popular because it does controversial stuff? Well, no, that's not true. I mean, Family Guy's whole thing is shock humor, and the average fan of adult animation could not care less about Family Guy in 2025. Netflix and HBO Max don't seem to understand adult animation, so most of their series, like Big Mouth, focus on shock humor, and it never makes the news. Or the true test of a hit, get multiple video essays from different creators. Besides BoJack Horseman, a majority of these shows are just forgotten as soon as they're created. Creators like Blooms and Sludge have entire channels alive and healthy making nothing but videos on South Park. Johnny Two Cello's video on the season premiere got 1 million views in less than 24 hours, along with Blooms. If you're a longtime viewer of the channel, you know I'm a huge Simpsons fan, but I'll be honest, there aren't any Simpsons channels doing video essays about the show remotely as popular as the South Park channels. If you're a person who doesn't watch South Park, you might be confused. Hell, people that actually watch South Park don't seem to understand either that or they're just grifters. This was actually supposed to be a video about how right-wing grifters don't understand the show. Then I tried to watch a quartering video on the show. He's so insanely boring, I couldn't even finish it. And I hate the critical drinker's voice. So it's no way I was going to talk about how he missed the entire point of the show. I don't think these men actually believe the things that they say. While I'm sure there are a lot of terminally online leftists who think the show goes too far, the channels who are able to actually offer something interesting to say about the show besides summarizing the episodes all seem to lean left politically. Why is that? For one thing, as I said before, South Park is a satirical show, and satire relies on taking comedy in real life to the extreme, and good comedy always punches up. Have you ever scrolled those anti-woke channels on YouTube? Their entire personality is hate and punching down. A movie stars a woman, it's woke. A movie has black people, woke. A cartoon has a gay couple in the background walking the dog for 3 seconds, woke. So let's compare how a show like South Park treats a joke character. While South Park understands good comedy always punches up, one of the newest reoccurring characters goes by the name of PC Principal, or Politically Correct Principal. He's extremely progressive, will not hesitate to correct you for using a term like male man instead of male carrier. He's more worried about purity testing people and language than the context of the situation. So basically, he's a real life version of Joey Swole. In case you didn't know who Joey Swole is, he blew up on TikTok by shaming people for being cringe at the gym or posting mildly mean things, then giving speeches in his car about body positivity or some shit. I don't know, I never really watched his video. Turns out he's a huge racist who went to the gym in full Hulk Hogan costume after his piece of shit hero died and claimed he never knew Hulk Hogan was racist. Then called black people colored and told us, get over it. I'm sorry, I cannot believe that you're a huge Hulk Hogan fan but didn't hear about the N-words. Let's be serious. This isn't a new trope. One of the earliest episodes of King of the Hill had a pencil-neck social worker almost taking Bobby out of the house because of a misunderstanding with Hank. And in more extreme cases, the trope is just straight up not funny. Like on a cartoon, Mr. Bertram, a series that's basically, what if the people who wrote King of the Hill all had one brain cell and they didn't understand comedy or satire? Now, I'll be honest, I refuse to watch a full episode of that show, but I do trust the many animation channels who've done video essays on how bad the show is, and the man bun character is just used to punch down on liberals. Let's compare PC Principal to a show I do enjoy, Abbott Elementary. If you haven't seen the show, it's fine. It's nothing special. I mean, if you need something to watch, it's fine. But they have a character on there named Jacob. He's a mid-20s, white twink, gay, very progressive. The joke is he's annoyingly woke, especially to the black staff members at the school who he constantly tries to explain actual black culture to.
Well, except your boy. It's me. I'm your boy.
See, the thing is, for a TV show, he's almost written too well. I know we're supposed to be comparing him to PC Principal, but like I said, Abbott Elementary is just okay. Jacob is just a less interesting version of Oscar from The Office, a character in a show that's much better than Abbott Elementary. Oscar is a gay Latino who thinks he's smarter and better than everyone at the office because he is smarter and overqualified for the job that he works. Now, Jacob and PC Principal both are comedic roles, both work in schools with young children, both shows are comedies. Where these characters diverge is the humor. Abbott Elementary is written in a way that 3 or 4 seasons in, I'm still not sure what the show is supposed to be. Is it a pure sitcom like The Office? Sure, some episodes. Or is it more of a satire of the American public school system? We get hints of that in random episodes and characters. Mr. Johnson, the janitor, seems like he's on a completely different show and is easily the funniest in the entire show. Is it actual commentary on the real state of underfunded schools in America? Sure, why not? But the latter doesn't make for great ha-ha comedy. When it comes to Jacob, he's written almost too realistic. He's annoying, but not annoying enough to be a parody of the gay 20-something terminally online leftists that would make the show more of a comedy and have something to say. Now, I don't think it's actually wrong with comedy leaning left or right, but I believe all of the best comedy falls somewhere in the middle. Having seen every episode of Abbott Elementary, I would say it leans pretty left. I mean, it's a show about public school in Philly with a mostly black cast and multiple queer characters, and the heavy messaging of schools are underfunded, teachers are underpaid, all things I agree with, but not exactly the funniest premise for a series that was destined to be compared to The Office. Let's look at PC Principal from South Park. It would have been understandable if they just went with a twink design or a hipster man bun. A lot of South Park's humor leans on stereotypes, but When PC Principal was introduced, they flipped the trope on its head. Instead, he's a 6-foot-tall gym bro with Oakley shades. Again, are we sure Joey Swole just didn't start off doing a parody of PC Principal and he just kept it going all of these years? Makes you wonder. And because the show understands humor better than almost any sitcom or adult animated series on TV, it uses this subversion to offer us the best critique of modern PC culture and the overcorrection some liberals and online leftists make. Remember, I said, the best comedy always punches up. Well, what better way to punch up than have the most politically correct character on TV be a brooding hawk of a man that will beat the shit out of actual children for using a non-PC term. And by that point, it's just so funny, you're not exactly sure who's being made fun of, just that the show is funny. But South Park humor can fall anywhere on the spectrum, from insanely childish like the season 27 premiere, which was essentially a throwback to early seasons. I don't know what it is, but seeing a photorealistic picture of Donald Trump's face on this episode had me in tears laughing. Juvenile jokes about Trump's tiny wiener and the paintings of him fucking his supporters, aka the sheep. Then juxtapose that in the same episode with very real satire of American news stations like 60 Minutes being scared shitless to even report on Donald Trump out of fear of being sued.
We are just reporting on this town in Colorado that's being sued by the president, and they are fighting back.
And just to be clear, we don't agree with them.
No.
Down to Jesus Christ and PC Principal jumping on the Trump bandwagon. To anyone with an ounce of media literacy, it's obvious South Park is more than fart jokes and crude language. But South Park goes way past just insulting the country it's made in. Way back in the day, these things called newspapers were popular, like insanely popular. In Detroit alone, we had 2 different major newspapers, and I know some of you think I'm doing a bit. Haha, young person finds the idea of newspapers weird. No, I'm dead serious. Hindsight, it's insane. We had 2 newspapers that survived for decades. On top of that, every city in America had its own separate newspaper. And some, they were so popular, you can get a subscription from a different state. Like, you could be living in Austin, Texas, and get the New York Times because they had nationally famous journalists and political cartoons. Now, I'm not that old or cultured, so I only know of political cartoons from shows like The Simpsons and Family Guy, joking on how all of the jokes in them are pretentious liberal shit no one actually gets or finds funny. Fast forward to the modern day, newspapers are dead. As much as I love the golden era of The Simpsons and King of the Hill, both shows' satire offer amazing looks at American life, but also they take anywhere from a year to multiple years or longer to make them. So when they try and get too modern, it often feels outdated, and that's mainly just for The Simpsons. So why was I yapping about newspapers and topical stories? Well, basically, because of how fast the episodes are made, South Park is the only show that can get entire episodes to air while the news is still hot and be funny. Because, yeah, Saturday Night Live tries to do this with sketches, and they just always come off as outdated. Well, let's steal from the real dreams and talk about a plot The Simpsons did, then South Park. Getting prescription drugs in America. First up, The Simpsons season 16 episode, Midnight RX. After a museum day, Mr. Burns announces he's getting rid of the health insurance plan at Homer's job. Now, I actually remember watching this episode live as a teen. In case you didn't know, in America, prescription drugs are basically impossible to get and afford without health insurance, and sometimes affordable with it. But this health insurance is tied to your job. Anyway, this leads to basically every company in town following and canceling the prescription medical plan. And this is a few years before Obamacare hit America. So for a post-Golden Era Simpsons episode, they still offer some funny satire like Dr. Hibbert dance number and how he's clearly paid off by companies like Pfizer, allowing him as a doctor to become rich while the masses suffered. Lisa and Marge talk to a prescription company CEO about why the drugs are so damn expensive, who throws on some random video and runs out of the room.
The natives had a word for it. Then we got rid of the natives, and no one remembers that word. But here are some words everyone remembers by Huey Lewis and the News.
I want a new drug. One that won't make me sick.
So far, the show is actually doing a decent job, and this episode is 20 years old. As Lisa mentions, in other companies, pills aren't $30 each, and they do just fine. Grandpa Simpson over at the retirement home is also cut off from his prescriptions along with everyone else there, causing him to hatch a plan. Head to Canada, get affordable drugs, and bring them back. Soon, Homer's leading a van full of his friends who need affordable prescription drugs. Sitcom nonsense happens, they get caught, are arrested, and sent back to America. Turns out Mr. Burns' assistant Smithers' thyroid's flared up because he can't afford his medication either. Yada yada, Homer and Mr. Burns snuggle drugs back to America. Mr. Burns give all employees their prescription drug plan back. If you've watched any Simpsons video essays channels, this isn't particularly a well-known episode, but for a Simpsons episode, it does its job of being pretty funny while showing how bad American healthcare system legit is. If you know nothing of America's healthcare, you could have a decent idea what it's like after this episode. Now, let's look at how South Park did it with the episode special End of Obesity. Yes, I said episode special, but don't ask questions. They pulled off some scam with Paramount Plus by selling them hour-long specials. Anyway, it's about Cartman trying to get Ozimpic, a weight loss drug. Cartman, the fattest and actual worst child of the series, goes to his doctor visit with his mom. As usual, the doctor tells him he needs to lose weight, and it's a new drug that can help him called Ozimpic. Cartman doesn't want to lose weight for health reasons, but because he thinks if he was skinny, he could be an even bigger piece of shit and no one would be able to say anything to him because he thinks his weight is his only issue and not that he's a racist douchebag. It's one big problem. Ozempic is known as a celebrity drug here in America. People like Drake and tons of other famous people are pretty much the only ones that can afford it because it's $1,200 a month or $1,200 dues if you're an Australian. And of course, Cartman's mom can't afford to pay that. So instead, Cartman is prescribed Lizzo. Just a cheeky way to say rich people get Ozempic and the poorest get body positivity, like Lizzo offers in her god-awful Sears catalog rap music. I'll skip all the B-side story and focus on just the prescription drug company stuff. So Kyle and Butters try to help Cartman get to meds. They visit his insurance company and are sent to the wing for filing claims. And all they have to do is navigate the U.S. healthcare system. South Park does this semi-regularly where real life is so insane, they just basically kind of animate it with no exaggeration. And this is a great example of the U.S. healthcare system. It's a giant scam. And Butters' little song and montage shows exactly why.
We're gonna get better and we're gonna be strong and just healthy as can
I need to send you to imaging.
Let's navigate the American healthcare system.
Just fill out these forms.
I just filled them out the last place. It's so much fun to be getting it done.
I can't sign this for insurance. His original doctor needs to sign this.
It's a confusing, frustrating mess that you only need to when things go bad. So the way Ozempic is supposed to work is it suppresses your appetite and some other science nerd shit that I don't know about. Because the insurance is no help. The boys use TikTok, YouTube, and Amazon to order chemicals and make their own Ozempic for Cartman. And it actually works. Cartman isn't able to finish his self-made cereal bomb, so Kyle decides to make Ozempic for everyone in town who can't afford it. But that means they'll be messing with the prescription company's money. Not only that, we get a scene of cereal mascots having a mob like sit down because Ozempic is messing with their money. People aren't buying as many snacks from them. Because Tony the Tiger and his folks won't sit by while this happens, they do something about it. Blow up the Indian factory the boys are getting the supplies from. This leads to a Mad Max style chase and carjacking of an Ozempic truck. Way too much to go over with, but this episode in this special is extremely funny. If you've been watching South Park since season 1, you're at the age where you have to deal with things like healthcare and deal with insurance on your own. Jokes aside, this episode pretty much shows exactly what it's like. I mean, the whole reason Walter White started cooking meth is because his cancer treatment was going to bankrupt his family. And that treatment is something he really needs to live because cancer ain't no joke. While the Simpsons episode throws shade at America's for-profit healthcare system, this South Park episode is a lot of facts with a little bit of fiction mixed in, and extreme details on what it's like for working class Americans dealing with this trash. South Park is really good at doing satire while making it just as funny. Sorry, no matter how old I am, cereal mascots committed felonies will always be funny to me. And clearly others. It's multiple videos with hundreds of thousands of views, some with millions of views, just covering South Park recent episodes. So From these 3 episodes, I think we can figure out why in 2025 South Park still has the cult following it does. Unlike modern episodes of The Simpsons that dips its toe in satire, which is completely fine, or Futurama, a show most of you all may not know has came back for like the 4th time back in 2024, when South Park goes in, it does it all the way. But most importantly, the show punches up. Big Jim Bro, the President of the United States, and billion-dollar companies, while also having something to say. My community has concluded I'm either chaotic good or chaotic neutral. So South Park politics are pretty much for people like me. And in case you all don't know what the hell that means, it's like some Dungeons and Dragons alignment. I don't know. It's popular on the internet. If you like this, subscribe. I'm low-key pivoting my channel and might just do weekly South Park and my other favorite satire, King of the Hill, when that revival comes back in about a week. I'm on my way to 100,000 subscribers. Until then, I'm out.